Come to a cross-legged seat on your yoga mat and turn your palms to face down. Turn your palms to face down, close your eyes, and just start to take longer than usual breaths in and out through your nose. So typically our breath is in and out about 2 seconds in, 2 seconds out. Can you try to expand so your inhale lasts at least 4 seconds? And maybe your exhale is even longer. And as you keep doing this, I'll leave you at your own count today. But as you keep doing this, your inhale might stretch to 5 seconds and the exhale to 6. Really playing with that diaphragmatic muscle, your breathing muscle, and seeing if you can find a little more space in your breath than usual. Good. So I have an idea for today's practice, which is the opposite of what my yoga teachers tell me to do. So go with your intuition here. But I love practicing yoga with my eyes closed. And every time I go to a public class, the teacher comes by and says, "Open your eyes, Ashley," every time, because they know, now they know. But I've been polling some of my students about practicing with eyes closed or eyes open, and either it's something that people don't even think about or recognize that they're doing, or they're very, very prone to doing one or the other. So if you are the kind of person who practices yoga with your eyes wide open the whole time, the invitation today is to close your eyes during your practice. And I'll give very, very, very descriptive instructions as we move through the practice to help with your understanding of where we're going. And if you're like me and you love keeping your eyes closed during your practice, maybe you try keeping them softly open the entire practice. And so make a decision about whether you're going to go in or go out with your drishti, your focal point, your vision today. And then bring your hands towards your heart center. And start to turn down the volume of everything happening in your life so much that maybe you can feel or hear your heart pulsing, beating underneath your thumbs. You're still working with these long inhales and exhales. Maybe you acknowledge that your heartbeat aligns with the type of breath you're taking. And carve out one final breath here to set an intention for yourself. Is there something you'd like to invite into your world? Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth wide and exhale. And now settle your hands down to your thighs. Move your heels a little further away from your hips, so you're still in your cross-legged seat, and just start to roll your torso around. 3 soft circles in each direction. Allow your head to be heavy, and you're just noticing here any tension in your lower back, in your hips, even in your shoulders. If you haven't switched directions, you can do that now. Good, and then pull back up through center. Take your hands out alongside your body. Inhale, stretch your arms all the way up towards the sky. And as you exhale, palms connect and come back down to settle against your heart. Try this really simple movement 2 more times. Your inhale scoops your arms up overhead, spread your fingers wide, look up. Your exhale invites your palms back down to your chest. Last time, inhale, stretch your arms up overhead, palms collide. And exhale, lower your hands to your heart. Now grab your band or strap or scarf, whatever you're using, and take it into both hands. Stretch your arms out into full extension and create a little bit of tension in that band. Take a breath in through your nose. Stay here as you exhale and tighten your core, let your shoulders soften. Now on the next inhale, reach your arms up overhead. You're holding onto that band. And exhale to lean your arms back behind you by any amount. So they might flip all the way around, somersaulting towards your lower back. They might get stuck right up overhead. That's okay. But just start to play with some shoulder mobility here, maybe taking your hands closer or opening them further apart. Let's try 3 more rounds of just creating this great big circular action, grinding our shoulder blades back, containing through your core. This feels so good in my body. Alex said something the other day about hoarding poses, how there's certain things that you love to do and you just linger there or do it over and over. This would be it for me. I would hoard this little stretch. Can you take your arms up overhead now? You're still holding onto that strap and simply pull your body over towards the right. So really yank down with that right hand, enabling a big left side body stretch. You could peer under your left armpit as you breathe in. Breathe out, fall a little closer to the floor. And now a strong core picks you back up through center. The exhale drags you over to the other side. Tilt your gaze under your right armpit. Inhale to stretch your right side body. Exhale, sink a little deeper. And now inhale, lift right back up. Good. Holding your strap overhead, take a breath in. Tuck your chin if there's any tension in your neck. And as you exhale, just rotate your torso towards the right. Pull back through center. And rotate your torso towards the left. Really, really subtle spinal twist is happening here. Do that 1 more time in each direction. Good. Trusting the process. And then come back through center. Lay your strap down out in front of you. Place your fingertips in front of your strap. Right onto the tips of your fingers. Pierce down into the floor. Loop your shoulders back. Inhale, lift your heart and chest up. So this is like cat-cow, but from seated. Now tuck your chin into your chest, round into your upper back, look towards your belly button. And unravel, doing that a few more times. Undulating your spine, working some of those really, really tense muscles like your lats. Good. 1 more time. Brilliant. Lift your body back up to center. I'm going to keep my mat with this blanket on it the whole class for some knee support. You can too if your knees are tender. And then turn onto all fours. Before we go anywhere, can you flip your fingers so they face either the side of your mat or towards your body? Flex your toes, push into the fingertips, push into your pads behind your knuckles, and start to sink your hips back towards your heels. Your palms might lift 1, maybe 2 inches away from your mat. So now you're stretching the front of your wrists. This is really good work if you have carpal tunnel, if you're typing or texting all day. Take one more breath here. Good. And on the exhale, make sure your feet are flexed. So you're sitting on the balls of your toes, and then pierce down through your fingers to slowly lift your hands away. Sit your hips back on your heels and start to swirl and twirl your fingers and wrists and hands around. Good. Interlace your fingers, press your palms forward, drop your shoulders down, and engage your core as you take a breath in to reach your arms up overhead by any amount. Good. Stay here on the exhale. Notice the work that's happening in your fascia of your feet. Good. Now bend into your elbows so your arms look like goalpost arms. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, touch the insides of your elbows together all the way up through your forearms and your palms. Round into your upper back and pull into a tiny little spinal curve here. So you're flexing forward. Inhale, lift back up. When your elbows get to 90 degrees, open them out into that cactus shape again. And this time, let your hands fall back by any amount. So it feels like you're pushing a button with the fronts of your elbows. Good. Bring your arms back to that 90-degree angle. Elbows come together. I know your feet are stressed out right now. Bear with me. This is the last time. Fold in, tuck your chin into your chest, and then lift everything back up. Open your arms wide. Take your hands onto the floor. Drop down onto all fours. Turn the tops of your feet to the floor and really tap the tops of your feet down. Tap, tap, tap the tops of your feet down. Good. From here, we'll move from stretching the soles of our feet to the fronts of our ankles. So this would be your counter stretch. And can you sit back on your heels to start? So knees are splayed out. They could be glued together, but that's a little trickier. Walk your hands back behind you. Again, your fingers are facing in towards your feet. Lift your heart and chest as you inhale. You could stop here and work on breath. Maybe you start to lift your knees away from the floor. And some bodies might like to go down onto their elbows, but knees lift away from the floor, which is a bit counterintuitive because we're used to stretching only the quads in this shape, but I'm inviting an ankle stretch instead. One more breath in here. And then with the exhale, drop your knees down and walk everything back forward. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Puff between your shoulder blades, flex your feet, really slowly ease back into your first downward facing dog. And this might be a place to pulse out one leg and then the next. Shake your head no or yes. Take a few breaths in and out through your nose, maybe even out through your mouth. Then find stillness in your downward dog and really focus on alignment today. So can you start by gripping all 10 fingers in towards your mat? Then allow your head to hang heavy and externally rotate your arms. So that feels like the eyes of your elbow. The eyes of your elbow, that inner line of your elbow that looks like a little sneaky eye, is facing towards the front of your mat. From there, push your chest back towards your thighs. Draw your tailbone down. Pull your kneecaps up towards your hips. Then root your heels. And if you only got one of those little alignment cues, that's okay. Take a breath in. And exhale. Slide your feet forward, walk to the top of your yoga mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. And today, let's grab opposite elbows, let the head hang heavy, and just dangle your weight from left to right. Keep dumping the energy, the thinking, the distractions from your brain down onto the floor. Keep driving your kneecaps up towards your hips. And now release your hands to the floor. Push into your feet to root. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, collide your hands together and settle them at heart center. Pause here. Think about your intention, really embracing this slower pace. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Fingers are spread wide and integrate a little back bend here. So pick your pubic bone up. Stretch your fingers behind you before you fall all the way forward down towards the floor. Tickle the floor with your fingers. Let your head dangle in space. Now press your hands into your shins and lift your heart up halfway. Elongate your spine. Plant your hands, step your left leg back, and drop down onto your left knee. Drop down onto your left knee. Good. Stabilize here. Set your feet or your hips nicely distanced apart, and then place your hands interlaced onto your right thigh. Try to straighten your arms. You might not be able to. I sure can't, but you'll push your thigh away with your hands. And if that's too much pressure on the back knee, you drag the leg forward. So instead of resting on the patella, on your kneecap, you're resting on the tissues just ahead of the knee. Good. Squeeze your glutes so those glute muscles activate while you integrate this deep quad stretch. Then take both arms and stretch both arms up overhead. Find a back bend, like you're taking a beach ball and passing it to someone behind you. Inhale here. Good. As you exhale, sweep your arms forward and stretch them back so they're on a long line with your back leg. And your torso draping towards your right thigh. Engage the muscles of your right thigh. Inhale, stretch your arms back up. Take that back bend. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. And as you exhale, fold over your right thigh and reach your arms back behind you. Try that one more time, inviting the more muscular work through the legs. So root down through the sole of your right foot. Engage your glutes, your bum muscles. And this time, instead of sweeping your arms all the way back, settle your left hand to the inside of your right thigh. Tiptoe your right foot out by any amount. You might even take your right thumb and plug it into your right hip as you start to drive rotation through your torso. Take your right arm, reach your right arm up. Press into the palm of your left hand and pull up through your left armpit. Imagine your left armpit took a big, deep breath in. That's it. And now settle your right hand down to the inside of your right foot. Right hand comes to the inside of your right foot. Roll onto the outside edge of your right foot and either stay here on the palms of your hands or drift down into a low lizard lunge. So you're coming onto your elbows. Notice what's happening in your left quad, in your right groin. Good. Breathe into those tender spaces for 3, 2. On 1, walk your right hand and then your left hand back into the floor. Bring your bum up so it's just on top of your left knee and then roll onto your right heel, your right toes face up. Inhale into a big long spine, and as you exhale, take this towards a big hamstring stretch. You can gaze towards your toes or fold completely, whatever feels good. Breathing into the back line of that right leg. Notice what happens if you shift your left hip over towards the right, so the hip again lines up over that left knee. Brilliant. Take it nice and slow. Bring your right leg back behind you. Plant your palms. And let's take some spinal undulations with a little bit of added pizzazz to them. Walk your hands one footprint forward of your shoulders. Drop your belly down, loop your shoulders back. Inhale, look up. And as you exhale, this is where we change it a little. Round into your upper back, push the floor away, and sink your bum down towards your heel. Change your mind, slither your body forward. You're just raising the floor with this deep, deep extension in your spine. Come back into your cow shape. Round into your upper back and push it back towards child's pose. You've got it. Try that one more time. Slide forward, dump your belly down, loop your shoulders back, look up. Round into your upper back, puff between your shoulder blades and melt towards a child's pose. Now come all the way up onto all fours. Shoulders are above your wrists this time. Flex your feet, tighten up your core, lift your knees, and float back into a downward facing dog. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Look forward, tiptoe forward, walking on your tippy toes all the way to the top of your yoga mat. When you get there, slip your hands up to your thighs this time. Lengthen your spine long like a table. And then exhale, fold over your body. Place your fingers down on the floor. Could you bend into your right knee? Bend into your right knee and feel that work through your left hamstring. Switch and bend into your left knee now. Good. Come back with both legs in as much extension as they can get and walk both hands over towards the right. Walk both hands over towards the right. Bend into your left knee. Feel that right hamstring stretch. Good. Walk both hands through center over towards the left. And take a little bend into your right knee. Feel that left leg stretch. Now bring your hands back through neutral, pierce down through your feet. Inhale, stretch both arms up overhead. And exhale your hands to heart center. Glue your thumbs to your chest. Feel the pulse and the beat of your heart. Beautiful. Open your eyes. Inhale, sweep both arms all the way up to the ceiling. And exhale, swan dive back down to tickle your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant your palms. Could you step your right leg back? Right leg back. And drop your right knee down onto the floor. Good. Steady and stable here with your hips a nice distance apart. Find your low lunge. So reach your arms up and it turns into this low crescent lunge because you're making a back bend and reaching your arms back behind you. You can engage your glutes, pull your pubic bone up. All these little actions will change your experience, the pose. And then let's try pouring our torso down towards our left thigh and aligning the arms with that back leg. Really slow movements up and down in this low lunge. You're just assessing the places that get tight. I know my own toes start to grip and my jaw starts to clench. That's it. Take a big back bend the next time you come up, and then you're slowly transitioning to the twist. So place your right hand on the inside of your left foot. You can walk your left foot out. Or reset your legs and reach your left arm up overhead. Finding that big rotation. You might inquire about stretching your thumb into your left thigh and then drawing your left ribs up. Big, full breaths here. You can actually feel your ribs push towards your skin. That's it. And then you'll drop that left hand down to the inside of your left foot, heel toe your left foot out, and roll onto the outside edge of your left foot for a low or maybe a high lizard. But you'll find some juicy sensation, I hope, somewhere in this shape, and just sink into it. Like really, really, really give yourself permission to go into the sensation. 5 deep breaths. Come up out of that shape with your hands and then start to drive your hips back towards your heel. Lift up your left toes, walk your hands towards the center line of your mat, and start with a little spinal lengthening before you pour your weight over into that big hamstring stretch. Now my body tends to drop over towards the right here. If that's happening with you, what happens if you shift your body through neutral, if you change how you're sinking into your hamstring stretch? Take a breath in, a breath comes out. Good. Walk your hands forward, stabilize here, pull that left leg all the way back, and let's meet on all fours. Your hands can come forward just a little bit, 1/2 footprint maybe. And this time we'll start to take the hips in big circles from all fours. So you're moving your body around like a giant ladle in a pot, stirring. The idea of a ladle in a pot just makes me think of Hocus Pocus every single time. Turn your body around in the opposite direction. Good, good, good. And then come on to plain vanilla all fours. Take your right leg, open it out towards the side, and start to do that same stirring action with your leg. So your knee is creating circles. If I were to put paint on your knee and a piece of paper in front of it, you'd be creating circles almost as good as a 4-year-old. Roll your circles around in the other direction. You did a big hip opener, now you're mobilizing the hip joint. And then take that leg and stretch it all the way out. Really pull your belly in. Take the opposite arm, reach the opposite arm out. Keep pulling the belly in. And just pause here and breathe, pointing your back toe today for 5, 4, stitch your core in, belly button pulls up, 2, and 1. Lower that hand down, lower your knee down, pick up the opposite leg and just start to stir your cauldron a few times with your knee. Take it in the opposite direction. Good. And once you've had enough of that, take the leg into full extension, drive your belly button up in towards your spine and stretch the opposite arm forward. You're just holding, no fancy movements for 5. Point your back toes, 4, 3, 2. On 1, take the hands down, drop your knees down and flex your feet. Flex your feet. Sit back onto your heels and then pick your pelvis up and think about shooting your pelvis forward towards the top of your yoga mat. Good. Take your hands on your lower back. Strengthen your quads and your glutes. So activate those muscles, the fronts of your thighs and your bum. Loop your shoulders back, lift your heart and chest, and imagine you had like a little puppeteer string pulling your chest up. So there's this continual lifting through the heart, engagement through the bum. That will create safe space for your back bend. You're coming into Ustrasana, camel pose. Now your hands might stay on your lower back, or you can take your right arm, reach it up overhead, look back behind you as it catches your back heel. And you might stay there, or maybe your left hand reaches up overhead, stretches back behind you, and catches your left heel. Good. Push your glutes together, stretch through your heart and chest. Give yourself a few chins, so you're creating a conscious double chin here, looking forward. You can always drop your head back. That can cause strain on the neck, so do it mindfully. Let's walk our hands up our back body, turn onto the tops of our feet, sink the bum down onto the heels. Hands come flat on the thighs. This is your counter pose. Inhale. And exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Our second back bend is a very similar but different shape. This is our hero pose. So now your big toes come to touch. Big toes come to touch, knees splay out. You're pulling your pubic bone up and through and walking your hands back behind you, similar to the ankle stretch that we started class with. But this time, can you leave your knees on the floor and maybe start to fold your body down? Well, my ponytail just landed directly in my water. That will be a nice surprise for later when I take a sip. There you go. Lie all the way down if you can. And you'll just feel this incredible stretch through the fronts of your thighs. This is a lot on the knees, a lot. So come out if it's causing you any pain. You know, one of my only continual constant disagreements with my husband is that he thinks when something causes you pain, you have to push through it. And I think that you should back off. And his old knees are not forgiving him for his perspective there. Good. Slowly push your elbows into the floor, come all the way up. And then your counter pose to that shape is a slow, slow downward dog. So lift your bum up and back into a downward face. Push the floor away with your hands. Take a big breath in. And exhale. And now let's come down onto our bellies. We'll keep with this theme of back bending. Drop onto your knees, lower your elbows down, come to lie flat on your belly, and take your hands just beside your ribs. Just beside your ribs, plug your elbows in, pin down through all 10 fingers and all 10 toes. Inhale, lift your heart and your chest up by any amount, squish your elbows together. Exhale, lower back down. Do that again. Inhale, lift your heart and chest up. Now lift your hands 1 inch away from the floor, just 1 inch. Yeah, lower back down. This time, push your hands into the floor, roll your shoulders back, and maybe come up. Maybe lift up until your hands are straight. You can roll onto the tops of your feet and find slow motion upward dog. You might feel compressed in the shoulder joint here, so pull your shoulders back, lift your heart up. And if your lower back hurts, squeeze your glutes together. Good, now push your knees into the floor. Move your hips back so they're just above your knees and walk your hands forward, really far forward for Anahatasana, melting heart pose. Drop your head and your chest towards the floor. Breathe here, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, lift your heart and chest up, walk your hands back to where your shoulders are, and then lift up and back, downward facing.
Take a breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Beautiful. Could you step your right foot between your hands? Stay on the ball of your back foot and inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, stretch your arms alongside your body, just like you did in your low lunge. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, stretch your arms alongside your body. Last time, find a deeper back bend this time. You've done lots of extension work. And as you come forward, place your left hand to the inside of your right foot, reach your right arm up towards the sky. Option 1 is to stay here and breathe. Option 2, drop onto your left knee, bend your left knee, and reach back with your right hand to catch your left foot. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. Unwind or rewind. Take your right hand down onto the floor. Lift back up into your high lunge and find downward facing dog. Now rest here or ripple forward into a high plank. Lower all the way to the floor. Inhale for baby cobra as before. And exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths in downward facing dog. Look forward, glide your left foot between your hands, scissor your thighs together. Inhale, lift up, find that arc in your spine, that big back bend. And now you can fold forward, stretch your arms along your body. Inhale, force down through the feet to rise up. Exhale, release. One more time, we're reaching up. Exhale, release. Your right hand settles onto the floor inside that left foot. Reach your left arm up. Either pause there or drop your back knee, bend your back knee, reach the hand back and create a little bind. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Both hands come down to the floor, lift up and push back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth wide and exhale. Bend into your knees, look forward, step all the way forward to come down onto your bum. Come down onto your bum and stretch both legs out in front. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Keep your spine straight. Lengthen through your spine and push your big toe mounds forward. Pinky toes come back. Suck your belly button in and then fold down by any amount. 5 deep breaths. Good. Pull it all back up. Take your hands under your left thigh. Pick up your left leg. Pick up your left leg. You might circulate that hip a few times. Then step your left foot to the outside of your right thigh. Move your left hand behind you. Bend into your right elbow. Ooh, this feels so good in my body. I don't know about you. Push into your left foot and roll your gaze back behind you. Keep your fingers spread wide. I used to have this private yoga client and she was from France. And every time she'd come into a pose that felt really good, she'd make these like orgasmic sounds. Oh, oh. And every time she came into a pose that didn't feel good, she'd say the F word like really, really loud. And we do yoga in her backyard. I recently met her neighbor who says that he always wondered what was going on back there because he would hear her making these noises once a week for 1 hour. Good, unwrap, out of the pose, take a big counter twist. And then release, stretch that left leg forward, bring your right leg into your chest, give it a little move and a shake. And now step your right foot across your left thigh. Reach your right hand back behind you. Take your big twist. If you want to make a noise, go ahead and do that. Big rotation. You have some time here, so let yourself enjoy. Beautiful. Unwrap. Take that leg out in front and come to lie down on your back. You know, this might be a good time to move your blanket out of the way if you've been working with a blanket under your mat the whole time. Find your strap. Wherever your strap's gone to, can you find it? Place your right foot on the floor and strap the ball of your left foot. Take the strap just into your left hand. Now your right leg might extend, but it can totally stay bent. And we'll just do another hamstring stretch. So you're pulling that left leg in towards you. Start to slow down your breath. So it's not controlled breath. You're not counting the pace or the rhythm. It's just your normal breath. Good. Now start to bend into your left knee. So you're taking this into a bit of a half happy baby pose. And my friends with really tight hamstrings, this will be your resting place for the next 5 breaths. Those who have a little more space might extend through that left leg and open it out towards the left. This creates a lot of tension through your adductors, your inner groin. Good. Breathe here. Bend into that left knee as you pull the leg back through center. Take your strap into your right hand. Take it into your right hand. And now cruise across your body by any amount. You get to decide how far this goes. So I like to pause just a little ways in. Some people like to roll all the way over onto their right side and take this into a twisted shape. See what feels good. All right, let's bring that left leg back through center. Bend into your right knee and place the left ankle across your right thigh. Reach your left hand through the little triangle. I'm going to use my strap here today to pull my right leg in. Then my left elbow pushes my left thigh away. And that is a big, juicy stretch for your psoas, your outer hip. Breathe here. Nice work. Take your legs, unwrap your legs. Could you stretch them both out long on your mat? Place your hands onto your tummy and close your eyes. Just feel what's happening here. Other side. Find your strap around your right foot, around the ball of your right foot, and take your strap into your right hand. Your left leg can be extended or bent. And focus exclusively on the hamstring here. So you're drawing your right leg in towards your body. Notice what happens if you point your toes towards your face, or if you roll your foot to one side or the next. You can really dictate where that stretch goes. Now bend into your right knee And either stay here in this half happy baby pose or start to kick the leg out towards the right. And it might come all the way down to the floor. It might crash into the wall. Breathing here. Keep that left hip glued down, by the way. Start to backtrack. So come back into your half happy baby. Then reach the leg up towards that first position before you switch your grip. Take your strap into your left hand and start to kick through your heel. Kick through your heel, and then gradually, like almost incrementally, really slowly drive your right leg over towards the left. You could even take your thumb and push it into your right hip crease. Oof. Driving the energy down, you'll get all kinds of sensation in that right leg. Patiently come back through center, place your right ankle across your left thigh. Find that interlace behind your left thigh or in front of your shin, and then use your right elbow to push your right thigh away. Breathing into this. Start to release. Place the feet flat on the floor, mat distance apart. So your feet are grazing the outside edges of your mat. Then just let your knees fall from one side to the next. And if you really want to open your arms here, go right ahead. Maybe take a big yawn. And of course, our final shape, Shavasana. Stretch your legs long. Relax your hands alongside your body. Close, or maybe keep your eyes open. And just take a few moments of rest.
If you feel like staying here, please do. Otherwise, start to slowly bring movements into your fingers and your toes and rock your head from side to side. Take a breath in, stretch both arms up overhead, reaching, yawning. Exhale, release, relax, bend into your knees and roll over onto either side. Eventually pull or push yourself back up to a cross-legged seat. Take your hands to your heart center and take a moment to extend gratitude to your body for these movements, to yourself for taking time to practice. Take a deep breath in through your nose and a big exhale. Thank you always for showing up. Namaste.